Hello, Legendary Princess here. All gussied up because our church was going to have a film shoot, or is having a film shoot today, for some kind of promo video or welcome, or maybe it was like people's stories. I don't really know, but I just know they were asking for volunteers, and I've been fighting a cold for the past few days, but I was committed to trying to go to this thing because I'm like trying to get out there more and serve because I feel like such a useless individual lately, being on disability for over 6 months now, and just feeling taken out by migraines or chronic health issues that have just been frustrating, and not feeling like I've been able to do much with my hands or my arms. And now with this TMS treatment that I've been doing, yesterday was my second session. And, just part of the treatment is going back to your activities, your normal activities, and allowing the pain to be there and not being afraid of it. So part of that, I was like, okay, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to do things that I love and, be involved. And I definitely have a heart to help the church. And I just feel very grateful for this spiritual family that I have. And I want to be able to help others find a spiritual home, and such a great family like I have. So yeah, I love being a part of those things. So I was a little disappointed that when I texted, oh, I'm feeling okay now after having breakfast and getting, ready, had my 3 outfits ready to go because, they're very professional with their filming techniques, and obviously had all the makeup ready, and then I texted that I was going to be on my way, and they're like, oh, thank you so much for being willing, and I know you tried so hard, but we actually have a lot of people here today, so it might be not worth your time to come, but what about tomorrow? So I don't know if I'm free tomorrow, so I have another session with my counselor, and then I usually go hang out with my best friend from Kiev who moved here afterwards, so I don't know if I'll be free to help them, but I was like, okay, God, even when I try really hard to help, I feel blocked. And I just listened to our church midweek message that they send out by video, and I wasn't able to go last night because I was feeling sick. Sorry, even though I slept like over 10 hours, I still feel like blah. It's probably a good thing that I'm not going to the film shoot for all day. But anyway, so I was watching the midweek series, and we've been doing a series on like coming out of Egypt and how God's plan for the Israelites, breaking them free of these idols, and what idols do we have nowadays. And for me, I definitely relate to the idol of just a relationship, wanting marriage, wanting a family, the idol of not feeling lonely anymore. I choose different idols in order to not feel lonely anymore, whether it's entertainment, Netflix, games on my iPhone or, iPad, whatever. Lately it's been the trail. Just mindless activities that are distractions from the pain. And I think the series, or the message today, was really good. Oh man, I've been doing this without my microphone. There we go. Let's see if that helps. The message today was really good. It was just talking about how when we walk through the Red Sea, like the Israelites do, when they were being led out of Egypt, or like they did when they were being led out of Egypt. Sorry. Even though I got a lot of sleep, I'm still sick, so. They were walking through the Red Sea, and there was this really great image that I'll try to edit in, of Pigpen Girl, as our women's ministry leader says. And she's like, Pigpen was the character in Charlie Brown who was always dirty, and there was just like a cloud of dust that was always around him. So Pigpen Girl is like, that represents our sin, how we're just in this cloud of sin, that we're just like constantly dirty. And so she's walking through the Red Sea, and on her right is is kind of like that self-pity pain, like thoughts of like, why am I here? What is God doing? Why would he do this to me? And, just those kinds of, that kind of pain. And then on the other side is the pain of like, I got this, I can do this. Maybe it's your own kind of pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. Like, I know I do that a lot because I'm trying to have faith and I'm trying to be righteous and I'm trying to, get to the promised land because I know I need to be good and righteous in order to get there. And I don't want to be like the Israelites who wandered in the desert for 40 years. So I'm going to just pull myself up by the bootstraps and do all the righteous spiritual things. But in my heart, there's probably still grumbling and complaining and just not enjoying the journey. Not enjoying the journey. So I think it was really good for me to I feel like staying between the two pains, that they kind of hem me in like the two walls of the Red Sea. And behind, coming from behind, are all the lies from Satan. And I'm like, wow, this is a really good analogy because I definitely feel dogged by Satan or by those lies that I'm not good enough. The reason I'm still single, the reason why it seems like everybody's getting engaged around me, even the people that started dating after I started dating and I thought I had my story. And just the pain of like those lies of like, it's because there's something wrong with you. It's because God's not proud of you. It's because you're so stubborn and hard-hearted and slow to learn. And you're like the Israelites wandering in the desert. And no matter how much you try, you're never going to get this. You're so dense. Well, I guess I'm in good company because Jesus' disciples were pretty dense, like before they got the Spirit. But then what is that? Then the lie is like, oh, maybe you don't have the Spirit. Maybe you're not really a Christian because, even if you got baptized, your heart wasn't converted and there's all these deep layers and you haven't dealt with your abusive past and you're afraid to face it and, somebody else like, oh, again, and then I get into the comparison trap, which is, again, another lie from Satan where it's like, so-and-so and so-and-so, if they were in your shoes, they've been through worse, and yet they've come through it because they turn to God more, they do this more, they journal more, they do, they face it more, and maybe some of those things are true. Not saying that I'm not responsible for where I'm at, but I think I take on way more responsibility than I should. I feel like my mistake is continuing to try to prove to God that I am righteous so that he will love me. And the reality is, maybe the difference between me and those other people I compare myself to is just that they have admitted that they're like, oh, I got nothing. This is totally who I am. And I'm still afraid to do that. I'm still afraid to say, this is who I am. God, without you, or just with you, this is who I am. This is where my heart is. I'm sad. I'm lonely, or, just admitting even the anger, the repressed anger that I'm dealing with my injury, the tendinitis, or what they say is tendinitis, but I think it's really TMS. And just okay, God, I'm sad and I feel useless and I'm angry. I'm angry that I'm here. I'm angry that these circumstances are surrounding me. I'm angry that I can't seem to break free. I'm angry that, you seem to be holding me here. Even the evidence comes, maybe this is Satan, I don't know, but oh, I'm not good enough to be a part of the photo shoot. I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not spiritual enough, or I'm not young enough, because they're looking for the people that can be relatable to the young crowds, or I'm not, faithful enough, or my life is not inspiring enough, or there's not enough transformation, or I don't get it yet, just all those feelings. I don't matter to God. I don't matter to anyone. I don't make a difference. I'm not significant. That's the lie. That's the lie that's dogging me. And as I'm saying it, I'm like, oh, wow, that is such a lie. But I think even the idea that maybe I can have an audience, someone to see me. And I don't think I'm the only one who desires to be seen, to matter, to make a difference. Gosh, does my life matter at all? I mean, even the thinking of that Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life, and wondering, have I made a difference? Like, if I die, would anyone care? Would anyone cry? Or would they just get over it really quickly? And I know other people would cry, but I just don't understand why they would. I don't understand the impact that I've had on their life. I don't get it. I don't believe it. I think I don't believe it. And maybe it's because I keep striving for the next impact, and I keep looking forward and straining ahead as if the past didn't matter. But maybe that's something I could do, is look back and say, I've done some good things, and I've done bad things too, but there's a balance, like I'm learning in Celebrate Recovery, which is a Christ-centered recovery group for any hurts, habits, and hang-ups. I like that saying. It's kind of like their tagline, but it's great because I'm really learning and realizing that I'm not perfect. I don't have to be. I'm not sure if that's really where I was going, but I totally lost my train of thought, so I was trying to bring it back. Like, where was I going with that? But anyway, hopefully it'll come back to me. And I just think that God is really trying to show me that it's not what I do for him or for others that matters or makes me significant. I really think he's trying to show me that he loves me for who I am. And that's really hard for me to accept or believe, maybe because of the deep wounds from my abusive past, or just, the ingrained pathways in our brain that those lies kind of form that trench in your neural pathway, and God's trying to retrain my brain. These are the things I think to try to make sense of all this, but I definitely feel like I do want attention from people in order to validate and to have some positive evidence to fight against the lies. And maybe I can't fight lies with more evidence, because it's never enough. And maybe I need to stop looking for evidence and just accept the truth, which is the sentence that God pronounced over me, not guilty, because of Jesus. Because, that's what the Bible says. That's the promise. I don't have to be good. I'm not good. Like, that's the truth. And so if I try to defend myself with, well, I did this and that and this and that, and stack up the, evidences, like the evil's always going to win. So maybe that's why it's so hard for me to fight with more evidence against those lies or those beliefs, because I know deep down they're true. Like when my dad would say, you guys are evil, or, when we were kids and we disobeyed him, and it's like, you guys are evil, wicked. And I can admit, yes, you're right. Like, I didn't have integrity by playing the video game when we were kids, when you were gone, because, or watching my siblings do it and not, even though my heart's like, oh, we shouldn't do this, I still joined in. I still was watching them. And I could say, yeah, you're right. I am wicked. But I think I've also made that mean I'm not loved. I'm not lovable. I'm despised and ignored and rejected, and I can't do anything good. Like, I've made that mean I can't do anything good, that there's nothing redeemable about me. There's nothing desirable or lovable about me. And I think that's really the lie, couched within the truth that I'm not good and that I need, like, a savior. I need God. I need someone to rescue me from those character tendencies. But the truth is also that God did make good things in us, in me, and that I have a mixture, and that I've made the mistakes, and therefore I'm not perfect. But the truth is also that Jesus took on all of that so that I wouldn't have to be perfect, but I could strive for it. I don't believe in just a license to sin. I don't believe that's a Christian attitude. And actually, before I became a Christian, I was going to a youth group where they did have that attitude, unfortunately. And, they would do things that they knew were sin, like sleeping around with each other, and say that God knew that they were weak and that he forgave them. but they would use this as a way like to justify and continue the sin. And I did not believe that even before I became a Christian. I felt that there was something deeply wrong with that. Just like any relationship. If my husband one day continued to sleep around and said, oh, I know that my wife loves me and that she forgives me, she knows that I'm weak, it would still really hurt. And oh my gosh, I don't think I'd want to be married to him anymore if he had that attitude and wasn't willing to change and stop that sin. Like, no way. Like, ouch. No, I can't be with someone like that. That's a psychopath. And so I didn't believe that I didn't believe that that was true Christianity, or that that was an okay belief. And it's definitely not something taught in the Bible. So, I mean, common sense kind of tells you that too, if you just look at any relationship and how you would feel in your heart, if you stripped away all the rationalization and justification. Anyways, like I say that to say that I lost my train of thought again. I'm going to blame it on the sickness. But anyway, all that just to say that I know God wants to help me to feel in my heart and believe that he loves me. And I'm not perfect. And maybe that's where I was going with that. I don't have to be perfect. I will strive for perfection. There it is. I want to be more and more like God. I want to be more like Jesus because of my admiration and respect for him, and because I don't want to grieve the Spirit. I don't want to hurt his feelings, if that's a thing. But he did make us in his image, and we have a lot of feelings. So it does say in the scriptures that we can grieve the Holy Spirit, and I don't want to go against what I know is right in those moments that I have that choice. But the moments that I'm not conscious, or that I'm just missing the mark, that's what sin means. In those moments, I know there's forgiveness, and the blood covers me, just like Pigpen. I used to be Pigpen with the cloudy sin. Now I'm robed in this beautiful, clean, robe that was made from the blood of Christ. I mean, just pretend. Or dipped in, the blood of Christ, like Joseph's coat of many colors. And maybe it has a magic power now, and it repels the dirt, and no dirt can stick, and, maybe if I reach down and put my hand in the mud, like willful sin, and I'm like, ooh, look at to play with the mud, and I try to, rub it on me, then yeah, I'll probably get dirty. But if I say, oh God, I'm sorry, like, can you clean this? I know I was wrong, and like, I'm going to change, like, maybe the superpower of the robe again is like, bing, like it's all clean. But when people are trying to sling mud, or dirt's just flying at me from like unconscious things, or I miss the mark, or I accidentally walking through mud, that dirt doesn't stick. And I like that analogy. Actually, I just came up with that. So it works for me. I don't know about you. But yeah, I think maybe that's what God is trying to teach my heart to believe, without having to consciously think about it, trying to get this through my subconscious mind, because right now my subconscious mind is pretty condemning. Maybe yours is too, but anyway, thanks for listening. This is long enough, but great message, great lesson. And look, I got all gussied up for our video together, so there you go. All right, this is Legendary Princess signing out. We'll see you next time.